a presentation from 5th grade showing the different layers of the Earth in a visual and auditory medium. So students worked together in groups of 3 to create these posters. They had some creative and artistic lessons in how they showed the information. This group showed a little volcano on the crust surface of the Earth, and then making sure that they had little different layers at the correct relative sizes to each other. Then at the end of the project, they recorded the audio of them reading each section of the poster and coded this little robot right here to roll along the poster and read aloud the audio at each different point. So students were able to show their learning through visual medium, through the auditory recording, and then had to use problem solving and critical thinking skills to code the robot and make sure it's rolling the right distance along the poster. At the very end of the project, the presentations were shown through students gathering around and watching each other's code as the robot rolled along the poster, and it involved the SPS profile of a graduate by allowing students to be collaborators, contributors, and creators. So.
The crust is less than 1% of the Earth's entire mass. The crust depth ranges from 3 to 50 feet. The crust is constantly moving due to the content in humidity. Most of the crust is made of granite and basalt. The mantle makes up 85% of the Earth's mass. Some people believe the mantle can get as hot as 7,293 Fahrenheit. The mantle is made of
grade, we do a lot of collaborating and communicating. Their first project was retelling a story we had read in reading class, and they had to choose a way to present the main events of the story. This group decided to do a timeline to show the important events, and other students, we did a gallery walk and they gave them feedback on their ideas. Another group with the same story decided to do a story map like a story arc, but they turned it into a roller coaster to show beginning, middle, and end. So they had to come up with the idea, collaborate, communicate, and write down what they did and then present to the class. In math, after our multiplication unit, the way that we really know if they understood is if they can retell and teach other people. So this was 2 methods to do long multiplication. The bean, plate, nacho method and box method. So they had to write the steps in order and use correct vocabulary to show their learning. And this was a retelling of Virginia Studies. We have an SOL in Virginia Studies, so we were finished with a chapter. They had to pull out the main topics, important vocabulary and ideas and events, and then share with the class what they had learned about that chapter.
Grade, we are learning all about continents and geography. So one of the ways that we took our continents project to a deeper level is by creating our own continent maps with all of the important geographical features, and then also by sending our little robot friend all around our continent. So not only were we becoming experts in geography, but we were also learning all about coding, public speaking skills, and of course, some creativity. Action!
This is the Himalayan mountains. It is 5 mountains. And this is where the name Himalayan pink salt comes from. This is the Great Wall of China. This was man-made. Now he's approached Japan. Japan is very important. Now he's approaching the Huanghe River. Did you know the Huanghe River is yellow? Now he's in the Gobi Desert. It is extremely hot there. Now his ending of the trip in the Arctic Ocean. The Titanic sunk there.
In second grade, we worked on some projects this year that exemplify deeper learning. The first project that we worked on was a weather report. So for this project, students used this paper to complete research on a certain storm independently. And once their research was completed, they worked in a group of 3 to 4 students to write a script to create a news report for Weather Watch. So they have 2 choices of scripts. One is more scaffolded with bullet points and talking points, and one was more open-ended that allowed them to express their creativity and give them some autonomy to create what they wanted to say. After they created their scripts, they worked together to film a video in front of a green screen on their storm and create a severe weather alert. They picked props and fans and the background and edited it all so that it was presented how they would like it to be presented. Moving over into some other projects that we completed this year, we did Makey Makey, which is a project that we did in collaboration with our American Indians unit. So we looked at the Lakota Indian tribe for this particular project, and students were given this scaffolded worksheet to help guide them through their talking. So once they completed this with a partner, they then set up a series of wires and grounded them all with Play-Doh. And once this is connected to the Chromebook, they use the wires and the arrows to voice record themselves on the Makey Makey app. And then peers can go around and listen to their presentation as if it was an interactive poster. And it was a great way to combine STEM and social studies and engage them in their learning. It also enriched and empowered them to publicly speak and to have others hear their speaking, which can be a confidence builder for a lot of kids. And then finally, we also worked on some habitat projects this year where they had to apply their knowledge of habitats to a diorama project. This was very engaging and enriching because they had to know what animals were in their habitat, what the habitat looked like, and different plants. And then finally we did some weather journals and we went a little bit deeper. Instead of just reading the temperature every day, we would take them outside with thermometers and they had to record the temperature based on the thermometer reading that they read.
Major focus is really on building their oral communication skills and basic collaboration to give them the skills to grow when they get older, to already have those skills in place. And so these are a few examples of some things that we do in first grade for projects. The first one that we have here is using our Ozobots, and what they're doing is that they're creating a map, and then they're making sure they have all the parts of the map, including their title, the compass, and the map key, and then they're creating their map together. And then after that, they are using the Ozobots to create a path, and then they code the Ozobots to go through their town. And this just encourages them to collaborate more, they're more engaged, it enriches, and they can have more ownership because they're creating their map, and then they're making their Ozobots do other things as well. We also had a project that we do towards the end of the year in first grade, which goes with our motion unit, where they're using the Lego Spike, and they really enjoy doing that because they already have a really good background knowledge about Legos, and then they're creating an object and then making it move. And that really empowers them because they create their object and then they're able to decorate it and then make it move in whatever way they would like. And so that's just creating more of that engagement. They're collaborating together, and it's enriching just because they can then make it do other things and they enjoy doing that as well. And
Alright, hello and welcome to Deep Learning in Kindergarten here at Lowe's Island. One of the standards that we learn about is community helpers. We also learn about maps, and so we combine those two in this activity. As you can see here, we have a map that lists all of the community places that people would work. We've got an ice cream shop, a restaurant, a playground, we've got a pool, and a hospital. We then have a bunch of cards that list the community helper that would work at each one of these places. And so what we do is the kids work in pairs or in groups, and they will pick a card. They will identify who the community helper is. So in this case, it's a teacher. They would then determine where would a teacher work. Teacher would work at a school. So they have to now find where the school is on the map. So we would look on the map and see here's the school. Now you have to figure out how to get our robot to the school and get there the quickest way. So looking here, this would be the quickest way to get the robot there. Now the kids have to determine how would I get that robot. So we have these buttons here on the robot. These move, they turn it left and right, and these move forward and backwards. So the students would have to say, okay, well I need my robot facing in that direction. So it would need to turn left 1 space. So we're going to X out to make sure we don't have any other code in there. And you're going to hit the button to turn, and then we're going to hit go. And it turns the robot. Now we determine that it needs to go forward 1, 2, 3 spaces. So I'm going to hit X out again to make sure I've cleared my previous code. Hit the forward button 3 times, and hit go. We get to the school, and they would do that again. They would pick another one, realize the salesman would work at the ice cream shop, and then have to figure out the best way to get to the ice cream shop.
In music class, we do a lot of deeper learning using the 5 C's. So right here we have some xylophone creations in 1st grade. Students start by reviewing high and low, and then they get to make their own high and low songs using E and G on the xylophone. And their next step is to create their own composition using all of the notes on the xylophone. So reviewing the high and low concepts, but then applying it to all the notes we have on the colorful xylophone bells. Everybody in music will listen to a different artist each week. They either have someone who is famous for composing a song in history or a modern artist. They listen to the song and then they collaborate with the group and share their answers. And here's a kindergarten example with some visuals. And then here is a higher level, like 4th or 5th grade, using musical vocabulary. And over here, we have a tech project that is at the 5th grade level. They review instrument families, they review instruments that they're gonna play in 6th grade, and then they get to do simple tasks at first, such as programming the robot to go to a specific instrument. Then they might have the robot go through and go to specific instruments in a family. And lastly, I can show you on the iPad a new thing they do with programming is they can program the robot to go through instruments, and they can actually pick a pitch that goes with the instrument. So if you see over here, we have a bass, which is a very low sounding instrument. They can program the robot when it stops on that instrument to produce a low sound. And this project includes critical thinking and collaboration, and they do have an opportunity to share if there's time.
Hi, this is a project that we did to support 2nd grade's curriculum with habitats. So we had each kid in a group, and they had to decide what animal they were going to do and which habitat that animal came from. And they had to draw the picture, and they had to label where its water source was, what its food source was, its shelter. And then we took these robotic cubes called cubelets, and we built a animal replica to put into their habitat. So these also have Lego attachments, so they could build Legos on it, which I don't have here. But we have a battery cube, a sensor cube, and an action cube. And if we put them all together, it will move depending on how you put the cubes together. So this could, if they were going to build a bird, they could build things on the side, add some Legos to it, and then they put them in the habitat, and they had a good time using the robots.
Right. In counseling, we have 2 major units we must cover for the county. The first one I want to talk to you about is our bullying lessons. The county has purchased 2nd step bullying material for all grade levels. In October, students explored and got a deeper understanding on what bullying is. We have for you the 2nd step website and codes for you to access at home. Students will learn to recognize, report, and refuse bullying. What a great opportunity. The county bought all of these wonderful things for us. Now, the second thing I want to talk to you about, in March, we will have our career unit that we must cover. Teachers talk about community helpers, and we also explore careers to support the classroom curriculum. When students have finished exploring the school links, here are some videos they can explore. Here's something that they will be able to access. When they have finished accessing all of the career units, you will get a summary at the end of March or April, and you can view the outcome of what your student has selected. It will provide them with like a Myers-Briggs code and careers that they might find interesting. As a school, most students have selected these careers: police officer, software developer, chef, teacher. Those were our top 4 careers that students selected based on the limited career choices they had available to them. In March, we'll have a career day, and we will try to find all of the top jobs for students to get another presentation on, to have some deeper learning and understanding.